This week on Music Worth Buying, we're going to be checking out Music Complete from New Order.
And What's Inside? Songs from the Waitress by Sara Bareilles.
Hello everybody and welcome to Music Worth Buying. My name is Robert Kinsler and I'm a music writer and a musician.
And my name is TJR. I am a musician and music writer.
Now I guess I'm going to be kicking things off this week.
Yes, you will.
And I'm going to be featuring Music Complete, which is the latest album from New Order. Now this is New Order's first really proper full-length new studio album in 10 years, since 2005's Waiting for the Siren's Call, which that was a great album. I saw the band that year. I just love that album. But you know, a lot of things have happened for New Order. Peter Hook, who was like the seminal bassist, key member of the band, he kind of, you know, I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but I guess he basically said the band was kaput and he left. The band wasn't necessarily kaput. The lead singer, Bernard Sumner, kept going on. They've been playing shows without Peter Hook, and this album was actually done without Peter Hook. But it is a fantastic album. They've replaced Peter Hook with another bassist that captures and brought kind of the intensity. He was kind of, I would say, was almost like as critical as a bass player's like edges on guitar. Just one of these singular, you know, just a powerful, propulsive player, very unique for a bassist. And I myself thought, how can they do another album and sound like New Order without Peter Hook? Well, they've done that. And let's listen to a little bit of the first song, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. This is one of my favorite songs off the album, and it's called Restless.
Okay.
How much do you need? How much? How much do you need? How much do you need? How much? How much do you need? Restless, I feel so restless, and in this changing world, I am lustful.
Full disclosure, myself personally know about New Order, not real familiar with the music. I should say though that at the time in the 80s when they were, you know, in their heyday, big, I personally avoided bands with this kind of sound, like Depeche Mode, like New Order.
Erasure, all those kind of bands.
I was not into those kind of groups because of the lack of guitar, because I was all about the guitar at that point in my life.
Not going to be a lot of lead solos.
Yeah,
there.
these bands that had baritone lead singers, which actually I probably back then disliked because it reminded me of my own limitations as a vocalist, and that I had a baritone voice and couldn't really reach a whole lot of high notes. And maybe I was just frustrated by that there was this reminder. I should have thought, hey, you can sing this stuff. You should try to do this. But
and Bernard Sumner is a great vocalist and you know, a lot of with New Order and with Joy Division, where's kind of where New Order came from. You know, very influential. You know, but you're right. But the other side of the tracks from like some of the guitar-oriented, harder rocking bands.
But I should say though that I have now, as an adult here, as an older person, I have, as a more mature person, going back to a lot of stuff that I disliked previously, going back and listening to it with new ears, you know, and seeing how it plays to me now. Now I will say, like I said, not real familiar with their catalog, but listening to that track, I thought that track was nice, thought it was pleasant and enjoyable. Not completely on board with it as far as, wow, I got to hear more. But didn't dislike it. Didn't dislike it, and would definitely, on your recommendation, try to hear a little more just to see.
And maybe because you know, I am enamored with some of the band's past albums. It's great to hear them sounding so good. And like I said, even with the loss of Peter Hook, the band's, you know, future seemed uncertain. But what the band did regain, though, is original keyboardist Gillian Gilbert came back. She hadn't recorded with them, I think, since like around 2000 or something like that. She had left, I think, to raise a family and things like that. She is now back as a full-time keyboardist. So it's kind of like what they lost with him, they gained back with her. And you know, and the band, based on this album, seems to still have it. I mean, the melodic gifts, I mean, a lot of their stuff is geared toward, I'd say, the dance floor and that kind of thing. They do that very well, and kind of what they created, you know, in the 80s, you know, you could say, oh, they haven't moved forward enough or this and that. But you know, it's very good what they do. They're very good songs. They well executed. They sound great, and I just really am enjoying the album.
You could say AC/DC hasn't moved forward
Yeah.
yet. They put out one of the best albums of their career with that last album.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you could say
certain
they haven't
bands,
moved
and I know
forward.
we've talked about that. Some bands don't
Just-
have to
No.
reinvent themselves to be effective.
They
you
do
know?
one thing really well.
Yeah, they do one thing very well, you know, and you know, and like I said, the album package, the album Music Complete comes just in a standard jewel case. Here's the cover, and we were both laughing a little bit on the booklet. It comes with quite a few pages, but it's just images, kind of variations of the cover without color. You know, you could see a lot of
That's
white.
it.
Yeah, that's it. And
No
then the very
lyrics.
last page has very, very small production notes. If you get out your magnifying glass, you can
might be able
check
to
those
read
out.
them.
You might be able to read them, and
And-
half that page is white. So
Yeah,
But
I mean, yeah. In my, if there was some interesting art, I might say something. Hell, well, that's good looking, but not much going on in the way of packaging, in my opinion. This is probably one of the most disappointing booklets I've seen since Paul McCartney's last album with the Firemen, which was a really disappointing booklet. Although musically really
Yeah.
enjoyable.
And that's what I feel like this. Like, well, they're to be forgiven because it's a really good album.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut them a pass here.
If I was a fan, I would say I would go for the digital release. If it was cheaper, I'd go for the
exactly.
digital release over the physical release.
Physical
because of the
release,
lack of
yeah, because of the lack of artwork.
anything
yeah.
here in this.
Not a lot of bells and whistles this time
Yeah.
around. Yeah. So, but you know what? Let's do this.
Let me hear something else.
Yeah, I was going to say my very you know, I loved Restless and the first song we heard a little of, but this is my flat out favorite song on the album. We're going to listen to a little bit of that, and it's called Academic.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's
I'll
very
check it.
academic. So
I will check it out. I will listen. Be open minded.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, baby, I remember you. Cause your heart is cold and your blood runs dry. You'll never see your head.
I definitely like that song a whole lot more. Why? Because there's more guitar in it. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I listen to so much stuff as well that has nothing to do with guitar.
Yeah.
I am a keyboardist also, a pianist also. No, it just was a good song.
Yeah.
I just loved its tone, loved the emotion, loved the lyrics. Really enjoyed that song a lot
yeah,
more.
yeah, and that one, there's a real urgency to that song that
Yes.
you can when thinking about classic New Order, there is a sense. Some people, and not everybody would agree, that almost like a cool detachment. This song, to me, what they've done is they've brought more of a modern energy into
Yeah.
it, and I like that. And I think that's where a band like them, without abandoning what they've done
Yeah.
and who they are, they can still infuse some new things into their sound. And I really like that song a lot.
I think you may have hit on to a certain extent why some of those bands of that time period doing that kind of music turned me off. Is there was this kind of cool detachment that I just didn't relate to at the time. Although once in a while there'd be a sense of urgency, like I enjoyed The Silence by Depeche Mode, liked it from the get-go,
Yeah.
and that I didn't feel like there was that detachment. I felt like there was something, there was that sense of urgency.
And they definitely developed that. I mean, Depeche Mode grew rapidly throughout the 80s up into the 90s and what they evolved into. And I think New Order, Waiting for the Siren's Call, which came out, like I said, in 2005, that also had some elements here too, where I thought that was a very good album. And it was good to see, after being 10 years away, basically, how they've come back and like I said, they're going full throttle. And I hope to be able to see them live soon, because I'm interested to see how they deliver some of these songs in the concert. So who'd you bring in today?
Okay, well, the latest album by radio hitmaker Sara Bareilles is called What's Inside? Songs from the Waitress. This is definitely a departure for her. For her fifth studio album, she's written an album's worth of songs for an upcoming musical that is called The Waitress. Now, this musical happens to be based on the 2007 movie of the same name. The 2007 movie was not a musical. It starred Kerry Russell. It was a motion picture, and I saw the movie. It's a very good movie. Check it out if you get a chance. Kerry Russell plays the part of a waitress who is unhappily married, and who, whenever there is an emotional crisis that she's dealing with, she creates these amazing pie recipes. And I'm not going to say much more about the movie than that.
Okay.
So what's happened here is that movie is being adapted into a musical. Sara Bareilles has written all the music for this musical. The musical has not come out yet on stage. The soundtrack album with the original cast has not been released yet. But first, she has just recorded her own album, her own interpretations of these songs, her own studio releases. And I first became aware of this when I heard the advance single Bad Idea. I heard the song Bad Idea at the same time that I heard the opening released by Adele, and I actually listened to the Adele track, thought maybe I'll do a quick review of that. Happened to hear the Sara Bareilles tune and said, I'm going to cover both in the same video, because I felt there was an interesting juxtaposition between the two of them. One was very inspired, the other one to me was not inspired at all. That was the juxtaposition. And but I heard the track, was immediately impressed, thought it sounded very theatrical, didn't know it was from a play, didn't realize that at the time. Loved the track on its own, talked about it, and then when I found out more about it, I realized, I knew when I heard that track, I want to hear the rest of this album. Then I found out the story, which I've just relayed to you, the backstory of this. And so let me just go ahead and play you a track here. This is the opening track on the album called What's Inside. And here we go.
What's inside? Everyone wants to know what's inside. And I've always told them, but I feel something needs to change. You wanna know what's inside? I could tell you if I wasn't hiding.
You know, I hadn't even heard anything about this, but that is very fascinating. This whole concept, she's singing about the ingredients of recipe and stuff. It's very interesting, but it is very, makes me want to hear more.
First of all, musically, I love its composition.
Yeah.
It's got a very interesting composition, but also lyrically, on the one hand, she's talking about baking.
Right.
On the other hand, it's a metaphor. What's inside of what I'm making here? Sugar, butter, flour. What's inside is also, it's a metaphor for what's going on inside of her.
Yeah.
What's going on inside my head, what's going on inside my heart, what's inside, And so it just sets up this brilliant setup for how the baking is a metaphor for her life, and how she says, I'm making a mess, and her life is a mess at the beginning of the story. She feels her life is a mess. I'm making a mess. What a mess I'm making at the end of the song, which she sings. And so, I was sold from the first track. I had heard the advanced single, thought I got to hear more. Once I heard that open track, I said, okay, done, I'm sold. You'd have to really go way downhill to lose me now. Luckily, the album does not do that.
Does not lose
Does not do that.
Okay.
Now, packaging-wise, this comes in a great package here. Mini vinyl gatefold. Here is the front and back. I love how the little check receipt, the restaurant check receipt, is the track listing here on the back. Here is the interior here. And it does come with a great booklet. The booklet opens up like a menu for the restaurant.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
The first lyrics to the opening song is like the first page of the menu. After that, we have photos. We have what look like hand-typed lyrics, but of course they're not really. But just photos to go along with the lyrics, which are all very easy to read.
The theme is well played out.
Yeah, the theme of the restaurant, the waitress, is all very well played out, as it looks like, place holdings here for a restaurant. For every privately owned mom and pop restaurant you've ever seen, and lyrics here written on what appears to be one of those, an order there on the order wheel there. The whole theme is well played out with the packaging. Love that aspect of it. And so these songs, I call them effortlessly likable. Yet there's so much work put into them. When you take the time to look at it, there's so much work has been put into the construction of them. So much thought has been put into them, yet they come off as just effortless. Just like when you taste some great cooking, you go, wow, and it seems like it's just like, it was obviously a lot of work, though it feels effortless. And great music, I've often said, great musicians make it look easy. When you see someone who's playing amazingly, they make it look easy. It's not. It's a tremendous amount of hard work.
Exactly.
But the great players make it look easy. And this is great songwriting made to look effortless, is what it is. And so we'll check out Now, the track that got me to want to check out this album, which was the advanced single Bad Idea, which also features a guest appearance by Jason Mraz. Here we go.
Let's just keep kissing till we come to. Heart stop racing, let's face it. Making mistakes like this will make worse. Hope it's already pretty bad. Mind stop running, it's time we just let this thing go. It was a pretty good bad idea, wasn't it though?
You know, I obviously don't know the full story,
Yeah.
you know, just what I've heard you say, but it's obviously that a lot of work went into this album. It's very ambitious, you know, and just musically what she's done here. I'd love to see this, like you're saying, maybe put on as a musical and stuff. I definitely want to hear more, and you know, like I said, just a whole concept, like what you're talking about. It is very, you know, I love the fact that somebody's trying to challenge themselves when they're a hit maker. They could just continue just to make hits, you know, like wait 3, 4, 5 years, do another couple, you know, do another album, and hopefully you get some radio. But obviously there's more ambition here, and that really strikes you because there's not enough of that nowadays.
I agree completely. In fact, after I reviewed this song as just a solo thing, I said, you know, I really do wish that more contemporary singer-songwriters, pop rock singer-songwriters would pay attention to musical theater. I think that, you know, rock and pop, you know, during like say the 70s was a lot more theatrical in how it was written, and how it was you know presented, and how it was written and composed. And I think there's a lot to be learned, and I think I wish more singer-songwriters would do this. But also, wasn't that song just a lot of fun?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You know,
Exactly.
it's dealing with an idea that is like, you know, you've got two characters who are basically falling into an extramarital affair, both
Right.
of them. They know this is not good. They know this is bad.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves. You know, this song could have been a depressing downer. Instead, it's this really fun song.
Yeah. Which
You know?
makes you think that it would wind up in a musical or something too, just the way that
And
they handle that.
gives you, and it's got a lot of comedy. It gives you the point of view of these two characters who, in spite of what they know is the best thing to do, they just can't help themselves. And you really feel yourselves, even though your rational side says you should never do this, this is wrong, you know you feel what these characters are going through because they just can't help themselves. And you're in their shoes when you hear this song. It does a great job of doing that. I love that aspect to it. And anyways, though, so hopefully you'll check this one out, even if you've never been a Sara Bareilles. Certainly if you're a Sara Bareilles fan, you're going to watch this out. But if you're not, this is a good place to start. And thank you for bringing in New Order.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that in.
Yeah.
I think these are very, like a lot of the times on our show, you know, we bring in some pretty diverse releases.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the great thing about music, that there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know?
And so we thank you so much for watching the show. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We thank everybody that shares the show on social media. My name is TJR. You can check out my music at my website, tjrmusic.com. Drop me an email. I'll send you a link for some free MP3s. Also, check out my personal YouTube page, youtube.com/TJR the original. And someday I will reveal the secret as to why I called it that. But I do music performances there. Talk about things like songwriting and other topics too, whatever comes to mind. Please join me there. And where can our viewers find you?
Well, they can, not only can they find me here at musicworthbuying.com, but at ocregister.com, musicnewsnashville.com, and of course at desertstarweekly.com.
Excellent.
And if you're over in the Coachella Valley, you can actually pick up the newspaper, you know, at a news rack there. It's free. And then you can, and I have a column in there every week, and you can check me out in print there.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, and these are all just separate reviews that he does, print reviews he does of also of music and music DVD and Blu-ray releases.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
As well.
Check
All
out-
things music.
Check out more of his reviews. Okay, I hope to get back to more solo reviews here at the channel. We'll see what happens. And life's thrown me a few curveballs lately, but hopefully soon. And just thank you so much for watching. We'll see you.
See you, everybody, and thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.